Welcome back, everybody, to our next episode in our multiplayer series playing through Hearts of Iron 4. You can see who's joining us today. Some of the same familiar faces you've seen all along. I'm playing Germany. Random British guy is Great Britain, not the UK. It is now Great Britain in this game. Grumblebee is the Soviet Union. Loose Screw is Finland, which controls all of Scandinavia. He really wants Denmark and Iceland badly so he can form the Scandinavian Empire. He is a puppet of the Soviet Union. We have Lieutenant Rixus, who's been pretty quiet down in Brazil. Insane is Japan. Mr. Beep, Godly Beep, is Peru, which controls some territory over here in France that I gave him. I had also given him El Salvador when he was controlling that, but now he's not El Salvador anymore. Torsk is the United States. Santis is Manchukuo. You can see here that Italy controls a lot of the south, but that's an AI player now because the guy who was controlling Italy hasn't joined us the last couple of weeks. You can see Japan does have a little bit of the United States. That invasion has started. There's been a lot of talk over the last week amongst all of the players. We have a chat on Discord where everybody who's in the multiplayer game can chat. And there seems to be a lot of negotiating going on concerning what's happening with the war in North America. So I don't know exactly how that's all going to turn out, but we're going to see. My primary concern was and continues to be the Soviet Union and his puppet Finland, because they loom large for me here in Eastern Europe. I tried to make an offer an alliance to the Soviet Union last episode. He turned me down. So we'll see where all that goes. It's going to be a little bit shorter gameplay today. We typically play for 2 hours. Today we're only playing for an hour and a half, so I don't know how long this video will be. But if you haven't seen everything up to this point, there's a link in the description that will take you back to the beginning so you can get caught up to this point. Let's dive in and see what happens today. All right, so I was just reached out to regarding my previous offer of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact to now say yes to that. But I'm sorry, that offer is now off the table. I have made other plans for what is happening, so we're going to just move forward and see what happens. I did give Peru and Denmark. He was the one who started that war. He wanted that territory, so I went ahead and gave that to him. And we're going to kind of see what happens now. Okay, so Japan has rejoined our faction, the German Reich, so they are once again a part of our faction. Let's take a look at the faction map as it exists now. So you can see here the axis basically is everything in Europe, with the exception of the Great Britain. British Empire controls a good bit of Africa. Comintern, Brazil, is part of the Comintern. You can see that there. Chinese United Front there, and the Commonwealth of Nations, which is basically the United States, the southern part of Africa, and northern South America. Okay, so there was some discussion about capitulation by the United States, a negotiated peace in which they would keep most of their nation, but they would allow the invaders to keep what they already have, which is basically Alaska, a little bit of Southern California, and that's about it. So it looks like that's what's happening here. We'll see how that all shakes out, and we'll take a look at the map once this is all finished. Okay, so here's the results of that treaty. Japan took 9 states. Great Britain took 1. Manchukuo took 7. Philippines was the next. 670 equipment has been seized, but the United States stays intact. Japan just gets basically all of the Pacific in their conquest there. I got to shut all this stuff back off now. Everybody's kind of behind from what happened there, so I'm going to pause for a second to let everyone get caught up. So let's take a look now and see what does that leave us as far as wars go. There are still 4 active wars that have to be sorted out, most of which involve Japan, apparently. So we'll have to figure all this out here. So it looks like mainly these wars concern Canada. So if they just deal with Canada, that'll hopefully end all the wars, and we'll basically be at peace in the world, at least for now. I did just sign a non-aggression pact with Finland. I certainly have no intention of being at war with the communist countries. I just am no longer in a position to negotiate an alliance with them, which is something that I offered in the last episode. So hopefully we'll stay at peace. We'll see what happens. All right, well, Italy has returned. Wise Guy is here. He joined a little bit late, but he's back, so it's really good to know that my ally to the south has returned in human form. That makes a big difference, and I feel much safer in the world because of that. All right, we've completed the national focus for the Anti-Comintern Pact, which is the choice that we were forced to make when the Soviet Union refused my request to do the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. So now we can do this, and this can offer all members of the Anti-Comintern Pact to join a defensive alliance against the Soviet Union. This will call all members to war if one of them is attacked. So I don't know if I'm going to actually go there yet because I don't want to provoke the Soviet Union into war. I really don't want to go to war with him, which is why I wanted to make the offer in the first place. But I also recognize that might happen at some point. We just captured a Soviet operative. Interesting. So Beep has started to justify against Turkey. Now, he justified against Denmark, and I got on board with that, but I just sent him a private message and let him know that this is a bit too far. I'm trying to get out of war for a little while. We've been at war pretty much since the start of the game. I need time to build up my military, to build up my infrastructure, to recover from all the conquests that we've already been on. I'm not getting involved in a war in Turkey. Just not interested at all. So if he does that, he's on his own, or at least he won't have my help. He might get others, but not me. Just checking out what the Soviet Union's up to, and it looks like right now he's doing closed city network, which is going to get him an additional research slot. I'll be curious now that he's completed all of that, where he goes next. I'm mostly concerned about what he might do in terms of this tree here, but especially right here, a war with Japan, claims on Poland, war with Germany, etc. If he starts going down that path, I'll be concerned, but right now I'm not too worried. Okay, so Ecuador has capitulated. The main thing that's happening right now is that they're trying to finish off Canada because Canada is the only major left in all of these wars that are still going on. So if they can finish off Canada, I think the world should be at peace for the most part. Obviously, Brazil as a Comintern power is a bit of a concern, but otherwise not a whole lot to worry about. They're still working on closed city network. That'll be a little while yet. Let's see what the British are up to. They're doing reinforce the empire, which I'm not sure where that is. They've got a huge focus tree, much, much bigger than the one that the Soviets have right now. Here's what we're doing right now in terms of research. We're 16 days away from having 1944 submarine hulls in 1941, which is what I've been after since the beginning. We're about to get our 1940 cruisers. So I'm starting to work on my surface fleet a little bit. And with that, we're going to focus a little more on our Navy. So there's a lot we're trying to do right now in terms of trying to work on the Navy, because land warfare, I think I'm in pretty good shape right now. Got a lot of air experience, so I might go in and upgrade some of my current planes that we have. We've got the Fighter 2, so let's take a look at that. That's the Focke-Wulf 190. So maybe we'll spend some of these points to improve all around. Reliability is terrible. Okay, so I think that's about as high as we can go. That'll give us 200 more kilometers in range, a little bit less agility, but more air attack and better reliability. So let's go to that. We just captured another Soviet operative, so it's kind of interesting that we're seeing multiple Soviet operatives. I haven't done a lot in terms of my intelligence agency. I'm mostly just focusing on the defensive part of that. Let's go ahead and upgrade our passive defense some more. There's the 1944 submarine hulls. So now we're going to really be able to get those high-end subs going. Going to work on a few of these things, belt armor schemes and such. And we're just continuing to crank out the infantry divisions so we can have a bunch of those on the line with the Soviets just in case it comes to that. They're just going to defend that. I'm pretty well maxed out on the fortifications. I right now got level 5. I'm trying to get up all the way to level 10, all the way across the board there. So he would just lose massive amounts of manpower hurling himself against me if he chooses to go that path. Let's take a look at Canada, see how that's coming along. You can see the Japanese are trying to gobble up what's left of Canada so they can finally end all of that. Okay, looks like they finally have taken care of Canada, and it seems like Italy and Great Britain have a lot of points, although it looks like I do as well. So I don't know where this is going to go exactly, and I can't see the chat, so that makes it more difficult. Okay, so this is actually going to allow us to finish gobbling up all the nations that up until now we had defeated and conquered, but not necessarily annexed. So that's all about to go down. Oh, Grand Borg is joining us. Interesting. All right, we just got experimental rockets, which that'll come in handy when the time comes. We also have a 100% bonus for wonder weapons that will allow us to build nuclear reactors in as soon as 479 days. So we could do that, or we could go for rocket engines, which is 2.5 years ahead. I'm really torn here. I'm going to go for the nuclear reactor. We have a bit of a problem. We had to reload. The war in Canada was finished, and we were in the middle of divvying up all of the spoils of war when somebody hot joined, and I shouldn't have accepted it, and I did, and it messed everything up. And when we came back, we had to reload 3 weeks earlier. Our map is kind of messed up. You can see I still control Czechoslovakia, but it's showing its original color even though I control it. Same with Italy controlling Yugoslavia, even though it shows the original color. You can see down here that Japan still controls Indochina, but it's showing as a different color. So, all right, here we go again. Let's see if we can get this right this time. So we're in the middle of divvying up all of the conquered lands. I've gobbled up Czechoslovakia, as well as this very rich in steel Alsace-Lorraine, as well as this territory here. That's given me a lot of steel production. That's going to be really nice to have moving forward as part of my territory. Right now we're waiting on the Brits. They're gobbling up, looks like, bits of Africa as well as the Middle East. So they're going to control, they and Italy will pretty much control all of Africa, which I'm totally fine with. I don't want to have to deal with Africa. So the more they have it, the less I have to worry about it. Well, we're still going with the Treaty of Paramaribo. I've gobbled up everything that I wanted, which is the eastern part of France, as well as Czechoslovakia, because the eastern part of France is where all the production is, especially steel. I puppeted the rest of France. And now we're kind of divvying up everything else. You can see what Italy's got. Japan's got Indochina down here. Beyond that, I'm really not sure who's taking what. I guess the British are still taking things down here that you can see. There's a lot of that. So basically, this is taking the better part of a half hour for this peace conference, mainly because Italy and Great Britain are just gobbling up every little bit of territory they can get their hands on. I ended long time ago for me. I don't want that much territory because I don't want to have to send my army all over the world to defend it. I took what was valuable in terms of production, but it was also close enough to my homeland that it was going to be easily defendable. So my whole territory is just this right here. I don't have, like, look at Italy. Italy's got all of this to deal with, plus all this stuff in Africa. Great Britain's got all of Africa to deal with, plus this, plus some territory in the Western Hemisphere. It just ain't worth it to me to have to try and defend all of that. Well, we're still waiting on Great Britain. He just does not seem to want to finish doing everything that he's doing. He just puppeted Norway, which means he took it from the Finns, which has not made me very happy, even though these are not my allies. Britain had nothing to do with that and had no business taking that. So kind of almost feeling like joining the commies in an invasion of Britain at this point over that. That and the fact that he's making this all take forever, and we're now on like 35 minutes for this peace conference, which is going to take us to the end of this episode, unfortunately. So it seems that as we're wrapping up this episode and this peace conference, that Britain has basically angered the entire world, and we'll see what happens between now and when we play again later this week. But I get the impression, at least the initial impression, that pretty much everybody's mad at him right now, and we're ready to knock him out of this. But let's go ahead and take a look and see where we're at. Great Britain took 46 states in all of that. Italy took 44 states, so they were the ones who were super greedy in all of that. Here's what the New World map looks like. Somebody went in and took this territory and gave it to me. I didn't want it, so I'm just going to go in and release it because I don't want it. I don't want it because there's just not a lot there for me to deal with that. So I'll deal with that, I guess, probably next episode, but let's see where we're at now. Peru's got some of his land back. Imperialist Canada now, right there. And of course, the Kingdom of Norway has been puppeted by Great Britain, so we're going to see what happens here. So as Loose Screw just said, he said next episode, Britain versus the world. So we will have to talk about that. This is going to be a really short episode, but we will see what gets negotiated amongst all the world powers between now and the next episode. But that's where I'm at. So we'll see. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Let us know in the comment section below what you think of everything that happened. It's really interesting now that we've had all of those peace talks. There is still technically war going on, so that'll all still have to be sorted out, but for the most part, it's all dealt with. We have a new world order, as we've talked about already. So let us know what you think everybody should do at this point. How do you think each of the major powers should play this out? And we'll be back later on this weekend. Thanks for watching.